Hi everyone, Leah Swain with Certum Solutions. Thank you for joining me today. This is video 3 of our series Odoo version 19 release, and this one is a focus on the accounting module and changes that have been made there. So we've got a lot to go over. We're going to go ahead and dig in. The first thing in accounting was the account selection. That's the most important part of accounting, right? You are now able to add descriptions on the accounts to explain which account is used for what. Additionally, default taxes on accounts are only applied to invoices and bills that are not on miscellaneous entries. On invoices, income accounts are proposed first. On bills, expenses and fixed assets are proposed first. So both filters can be overridden if you need to. Basically, this is just to help you when you're doing your bills or invoices to prevent scrolling. It helps you focus on streamlining the build out of that invoice or bill without having to go through all the ridiculousness that wouldn't be applicable in the first place. Next, you can use budgets now without installing the purchase app for simple budgeting without committed amounts. The hierarchy of analytic subplans and budgets and analytic reports has been improved. There's a new thing out that is annual statements composite report. So that is for a year end, the balance report, profit and loss, and trial balances, so you can print them all at once. Not saying that end of year is now fun, but it maybe is a little easier. Additionally, you now have import templates available for importing assets. The bank reconciliation interface has also been simplified. It has automated reconciliation models with improvements to enhance the transaction recognition. And draft entries can now be reconciled. Eventual automatic moves are created in draft simultaneously with the reconciliation. So when you're posting the original entry, the reconciliation is automatically confirmed as well. That's going to really streamline things. Additionally, you can fully reconcile or write off partially reconciled items. OCR, that's your optimal character recognition. That's the tool that looks at documents and pulls mapped items in. So your OCR for statements has been improved. Now you can manually correct the starting balance and ending balance of any statement by clicking on the field and then on the appropriate number in the PDF. So if the magic eye reading that statement was wrong, you can now go back and select where it should be reading from. There's a later update on the OCR. Also, after a document has been digitalized, selecting any portion of the text to fill in any field present on the form view. That now includes custom fields and fields in one-to-many lines. You can automatically create multiple lines at once by selecting multiple amounts in the document at the same time. So big update to the OCR. Additionally, you can preview attached documents in the transaction bank list view, so you don't have to download them to open them any longer. You can just preview them in the list view. Regarding cash discounts, the always upon invoice option has been added for tax reduction on payment terms with a cash discount, so you can handle those cash discounts a little bit easier. The debit note option in the action menu has been replaced with a dedicated button for debit notes. The default recipient bank account information. So now on customer invoices, the recipient bank account field is populated using a new algorithm. This is very important. So if you use this, pay attention. If a specific payment method is set on the partner of the invoice, Odoo will select any related bank accounts for the payment of the invoice. If no payment method is found, Odoo will select any bank account from the company whose currency matches the currency of the invoice. Again, if nothing is found, the first available bank account will be set. So be aware how your default recipient bank accounts are set up in your software, because in version 19, there's a new algorithm. So you want to make sure you understand that. Feel free to rewind and rewatch if you need to. For deferred miscellaneous entries, there are now start and end dates added. So you can have deferrals of bills to receive and invoices to issue. The down payment account field has been moved from the product category to the account settings. I know it should have been there the whole time, right? It's not a product. It should have been an account. So you don't have to search for it anymore. It's now on the accounting settings. For ease with doing bills, When there's a duplicate bill detected, the warning banner remains visible even after posting, and the reference field of the attached bill is highlighted in the list view. So that means duplicate bills are now being excluded from automatic posting. You also can exclude specific moves from follow-ups. Excluded invoices are ignored in both the computation and the report sent. So you can exclude certain things in the follow-ups. Fiscal categories have been moved to accounts to allow for different rates to be set in accounts with the same category. That means, like, for example, fleet expenses in Belgium, you don't have to duplicate those categories anymore. Those categories have all been moved to accounts. For fiscal positions, taxes are by default filtered on invoices based on fiscal position and on products based on the domestic fiscal position. The fiscal positions are now always determined based on their sequences. And going forward on invoices, taxes in the current fiscal position that are replaced by others are filtered out by default, with the additional taxes being accessible through the search more function. So they're still there. They're just filtered out to make it easier, but you can still go back and find them if you need to. Follow-up reports, a new variant of the partner ledger. The follow-up report has been introduced. It is separated from the customer statement and serves a distinct purpose. It highlights overdue invoices separately from the due ones. The report is accessible from the reporting section for streamlined follow-ups. Additionally, invoicing on Enterprise now grants access to the account report module and activates partner reports by default. So that allows both the invoicing users and accounting users with only invoicing in banks to have the access rights. So the total amount is now showing on your invoice report. It is available as a measure in the invoice analysis report. So you can actually see the total line now. That was not there before. For my EDI people, there's been updates to ISO 222. You can now define the charge bearer on individual payments when generating batch payments for the payment files. The priority instruction can be specified on payments for the ISO 222 payment method and its variants. And outgoing payments now include the end-to-end identifier to simplify your reconciliations. So that's really good. You'll now be able to see your end-to-end identifier when you're doing those reconciliations to make it easier. You don't have to go and search who that was. There's been an update to the KYC verification. That's the Know Your Customer functionality. It's been improved for payment initiation within Odoo. More secure, always better. For your audit trail, the non-restrictive audit trail has been made available by default for everybody. That's your light audit trail, the non-restrictive one. There is a new journal creation wizard, which has been added to the dashboard, and it includes bank and credit card account synchronization. So there's a wizard to walk you through it. Always good to have a wizard on your side. The journal and reconciliation modules form views have been revamped. The invoice line display settings are now stored separately for customer invoices and bills, which allows different configurations for incoming and outgoing invoices. This is a big one, so that kind of keys in with this. Purchase and sales receipts have been merged with invoices and bills. Purchase receipts are always available. You just change between bill or receipt on the vendor bill form, but sales receipts can be activated in settings. Localizations can be set to override default taxes depending on local requirements. So that kind of goes in with the vendor bills and forms that we just discussed. The European standard has been improved. There is now a new numbers only format added to handle countries where payment references, including special characters, are no longer supported. There's been improvements to the print and send functionality. There's now a print and send wizard, the accessibility of the print menu options, and customization of the action reports and templates using Studio. There's now purchase order matching. Yay! So when you're importing vendor bills, Odoo will now look at purchase order references everywhere in that OCR document, including descriptions. So that's a big one. To match with existing purchase orders. So that's when you're scanning those documents in, you don't have to worry about duplication. They're doing more to make sure there's not duplication. Annotations made on reports are now going to be visible in the report chatter. Oh, this is another permissions one. Accounting users with only invoicing access rights, so invoicing or invoicing in banks, are allowed to post moves like invoices, but they are automatically flagged as for review to the accountant. So that would be the bookkeeper or who you have set up with admin rights. But here's the key on that one. Even though they're able to do that and set it for review, once the move has been reviewed by the accountant or the admin, it cannot be reset by the invoice user any longer. So you still have the overall right. Once you've approved it, they can't go back and change it, even if it was their entry. So hopefully that streamlines some processes for you. I know that permissions can get sticky sometimes. Tax reporting, the plus and minus signs have been removed from the tax tags on tax reports. The inversions are now handled directly on the report lines. A new tax return feature has been introduced supporting fiscal return obligations and deadlines, as well as automated validation checks to ensure accurate filings. The feature is totally customizable for your locations. It's localization across many regions, so you can customize that. And then lastly, still on the tax train, the taxable supply date is activated in countries that require it. So that is all the updates to the accounting module. Next up on our list is technical. So that's the one that's going to be combined. So if you haven't found what you wanted alphabetically in our source doc here in the intro, technical is going to combine a lot of different things. It's kind of my grab all for ones that didn't fit on their own video. Please make sure that you follow and subscribe, like, and share. Make sure everybody's getting this information out there. We appreciate it. And of course, if you have any questions at all, feel free to reach out to us. And I hope you're enjoying the series. If you need to reach out to me and want to request any additional information, I'm more than happy to schedule an appointment. And we look forward to working with you. Wishing you continued success. Have a great day.